The New York Knicks have just made a surprise signing in Cameron Payne, and we have to talk about it. So what's up, guys? Welcome back to Knicks Digest. It's Chris here, and we're going to jump right into the video, as we always do. Because out of left field right now, minutes ago, the New York Knicks signed Cameron Payne to a one-year deal. Now, I don't know where this came from, but Shams just broke it down that it happened, saying free agent guard Cam Payne has agreed to a one-year, $3.1 million deal with the New York Knicks, as sources have told The Athletic. Now, Cameron Payne, he puts up 7.5 points per game with 2.5 assists, shoots nearly 40% from the field. Most of his shots are threes, or well, over half his shots are threes. He's a great catch-and-shoot shooter, 6'3", solid backup point guard, never really shoots in the corner and doesn't shoot it very well. The man likes to hang out around the top of the key or on the wings. Really what Cam Payne does is he's a good backup point guard who could spot up and hit threes. Now, I'm curious why they signed him, because they have Deuce McBride, who's a better defender than Payne and shot better from three than Cameron Payne, and I'd say is better than Cameron Payne. So it makes you wonder why the Knicks did this. Cue the Brian Windhorst meme where he's going like that. Especially because the Knicks also have Tyler Kolek now, who just put up 7.7 rebounds and 7 assists in the Summer League game, showing how good he can potentially become. But now they also have Cameron Payne. That's a fourth point guard on roster. Between Payne, Deuce, and Brunson, there's 3 of them that deserve minutes. I'm curious what's going on right here. I have a feeling this means Deuce might get traded. Now, we know the New York Knicks have had prolonged interest in centers such as Nick Richards and Walker Kessler. Now, there's a world where the Utah Jazz really want Deuce McBride and are willing to part with Walker Kessler if the Knicks also throw a first-round pick their way. I'm not against doing that. Now, I love Deuce, don't get me wrong, but his playoff performance was a little spotty. He had games where he was great, don't get me wrong, but he also had games where he wasn't hitting shots, such as Game 7 against the Indiana Pacers that the Knicks ultimately lost because they couldn't hit shots. And also, everyone got injured. But really, now Cameron Payne's on the Knicks, and I'm so curious because something else is going to happen, that means. I don't know if it is Deuce, but it feels likely that Deuce McBride is going to be traded off the Knicks if they are signing Cam Payne, because they had some money to work with, and they're using it on a position that not only does their superstar play, but also is a position that Dante DiVincenzo can play as the team's 6th man. Also, Deuce McBride exists. They just drafted a point guard in Tyler Kolek. There's a lot of point guards on this team. Now, I know they like Deuce more as a shooting guard than a point guard, but still, there'd be a lot of shooting guards then between having Mikal as your starter and then DiVincenzo as the 6th man, and then you're making Deuce a 3rd stringer? That does not feel likely either. So unless there's a situation where Tom Thibodeau wants to run a 10-man rotation with a starting 5 of Brunson, Mikal, OG, Randall, and then Mitch with a backup unit of Cameron Payne, Deuce McBride, Dante DiVincenzo, Josh Hart, and probably Precious Achiuwa in that case, then I'd assume the Knicks are about to make some sort of a trade. Now, it's not going to be Kolek, and literally my phone is on right here sending me updates just in case, but the only one I just got is an NBA Sentinel update about whatever his name is. Oh, yeah, some lie about a Jalen Brown trade. Everyone should mute them, by the way. I just don't find that funny at all. I think it's really stupid. But whatever, not the point of this. Look, I'm really curious what's going on, and I actually do have my phone open waiting to see if there's anything else that's going to happen. I jumped on this right as this came out. But look, Cameron Payne's talked with the Knicks before the series against the 76ers, and shout out to Knicks. This dude's killing it, and he's overseas right now, I believe. But he mentioned that Cameron Payne was asked about it and said, about playing in the Garden in the playoffs, and said, hopefully I can get up to shooting some threes and skipping in the Garden. That's always fun. And in case you remember, Cameron Payne was a Phoenix Sun for a while and is friends with Mikal Bridges. Now, this is kind of a crazy point to where I screenshotted the tweet, but you know what? It was a video, and I'll be honest, it's a pretty funny photo if you screenshot it from there. I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to lie to you guys and act like I didn't know what I was doing there. I knew what I was doing, but it's funny, and, I'm trying to make you guys enjoy this. But look, Cameron Payne joining the Knicks, interesting signing for sure. I like it. why not? If nothing else, you're strengthening up your bench. We know the Knicks were worried about not really having a third-string unit that was proven enough to, if they had injuries in the playoffs, they had reliable guys they could go to. Now, yeah, Daquan Jeffries or someone like that was healthy, but him and Diakite didn't have playoff experience, so the Knicks were kind of fearful in going to guys like that in the playoffs. Adding Cameron Payne, even if you're not going to trade Deuce, means that you're having him as your third-string point guard, and he's the best third-string point guard in the NBA in that case. You also have Kolek as a fourth-stringer. Either one of them can play the 1 or the 2. Kolek really belongs as a point guard, though. He's mainly a playmaker. Cameron Payne can play an off-ball, too. He's a little undersized, but 6'3" is fine as a shooter who's a shooting guard. I mean, great bench depth addition. I absolutely love the decision. And Ian Begley did mention that the Knicks, they had interest in Cameron Payne and Tyus Jones, though they went the Cameron Payne route. One, because what wasn't said is probably the fact that Tyus Jones has a few different suitors, is an absolutely pretty great backup point guard. I almost just cursed for no reason. But look, Deuce, I think he might get traded now. There's a world where he doesn't, don't get me wrong. This could just be a very simple bench depth signing, and I kind of hope it is because I like the idea of having the best bench depth in the NBA. But going into the season, then, you're going to have 5 guys who are point guards between Jalen Brunson, Tyler Kolek, Cameron Payne, Deuce McBride, and Ryan Arcidiacono at the end of your bench. Like, I'm really interested in, there's going to be something on an Arcidiacono video coming soon. And look, I think that's interesting. Deuce and Cam can both play the 1 or the 2, so it gives you some flexibility. It definitely gives you bench depth, which I like, as I mentioned. There's a lot of things about this that could be very good for this team. I'm just curious if this was a move just to add depth, because the Knicks went with Cam Payne because of his playoff experience. That's kind of how that Begley quote finishes, which is the Knicks like the 2 of them, chose Cam Payne because, well, he has more experience and he's a lot cheaper. So, if nothing else, excellent bench depth move. Leon Rose stays cooking. First actual signing of a New York Knicks free agent who wasn't on the team. Now, obviously, they brought in McHale as a trade. And I just slapped my leg pretty hard. But look, I like this move, and I think this is a good idea. Now, hopefully, this means Deuce McBride does not get traded. But if the Knicks do want Walker Kessler, I'm willing to part with Deuce McBride. So, guys, let me know what you think. Is this a good move? Do you think something else is coming? Or do you think this just happens to be a one-off to add bench depth? Let me know in the comments down below, guys. Like this video, subscribe, turn on post notifications. Have a phenomenal day, guys. Cam Payne, I like it. Also just weakening the 76ers a little bit. Yeah, Sean, we just took your backup point guard. What are you going to do now? Have a great day, guys. Go Knicks.